Hello and welcome! My name is Hero and this is my Let's Play series of Europa Universalis IV where we're playing as the blessed nation of Ethiopia. And we are in what will probably be the last, if not one of the last episodes, because we are in a war with Ottoman, and soon we will have enough war score to take the Pearl, the city of War's Desire, Constantinople, formerly known as Byzantium, and would later be known as Istanbul. Oh, yeah. I think basically we have to get Cyprus seats down, and then it's that. Let's just go to speed 4 again. Yeah, they're trying to get back in seats, but now they don't have all those cannons, so... Cyprus tried to attack us with... that's probably not gonna work for you. Actually lost a heavy there. That's not nice. Let's just do a repair damaged. Let's just get some digital power. What is happening? Okay, so repair damaged. That's a big uprising. Probably need to go and deal with that. You go here to Adine, I think. Do we want to review war tactics? Yeah, let's just do that. They're trying desperately to mobilize some troops. Ooh, and we are making coffee. I like coffee. Ethiopian coffee. That's nice. So currently in a base race with Ottoman peasants. And we won. So do we want to take Cyprus as well? No. Apparently not. Let's just do this. Bam! You go there. You just go protect trade in Alexandria. You go here. Well, you just go here. And you go there. And there's no reason to pay for all these forts anymore. So, yeah, this is gonna be it. We now just need to call that province and we are done with this campaign. Let's just pay for corruption. Not that I'm gonna... So yeah, I talked about this already, and I'm not gonna finish this, or not gonna play this to 1821. So let's just talk about the campaign while things happen here. Basically, My point, the point of this campaign was to unite the Coptic faith, which we did, and it was to take the Prestor John achievement, which is a pretty old achievement, if I can find it here, from pretty early on in EU4, but haven't really had the desire to play Ethiopia before now. But basically, in order to complete that achievement, you have to own Alexandria, Antioch, and Constantinople. And since we had to own Alexandria and Antioch for the other achievement, it made sense to do both of them as Ethiopia, so we could get 2 achievements, right? Who's this? Can we make Poland happy? Yeah, we probably can. Let's just do this. So yeah, that's why I chose Ethiopia for this one. Actually, if you just want to go for the yeah, call him. There's so many things I have to do that I don't really need to do. Anyway, if you just want to go for uniting the Coptic faith, it's much easier to do that at QQ. And now you might ask, QQ? But QQ aren't Coptic. Well, they have quite a lot of Coptic provinces. So what you can do is you can send your missionary to one of the Coptic provinces and then just not pay for it and just wait for the Coptic rebellions to spawn and then just let them win, which means that you would turn into a Coptic nation. And I don't know if we can call, we can probably not see it. Yeah, their cores have disappeared. But basically they already own Yerevan up here, and that also means that you have the provinces that are most tough to get to because of the Ottoman. As you can see, we took this from the Ottoman, and this is always quite hard. Even in this game where Ottoman growth was actually stunted for a big part of the game because Poland was pretty OP at the start of the game. So you can then go down and fight the Mamluks at least as easily as Ethiopia can, and that way you can actually get that achievement a little bit easier. But with that in mind, I don't think it was that hard to do it in Ethiopia. We did run into some pretty annoying alliances we had to deal with, but Ethiopia has so many ways of spreading and increasing their power, even if they're not going in the direction that the achievements dictate. Like, I ended up having quite a lot of focus in this area and doing these ugly snakes because I wanted to finish the achievement. But I could just have spent time taking over India, taking over this, the Spice Islands, maybe taking over the rest of Africa, and all that would just give me enough power that even if I had to fight Ottoman and Russia together, I could just do that. Oh, the first Turkish recommendation, I should actually have tried that. That would actually been a good way to get that achievement in this game, but I forgot. So yeah, how hard are those 2 achievements to get? Well, if you are doing it as Ethiopia, I would argue that they are equally hard. I would probably, so if you have been checking out the Wikipedia, the EU4 wiki, Prestor John is listed as a hard achievement, and I think the other one is, one of them is listed as harder, one of them is listed as very hard. I would say if you play them as Ethiopia, I would probably rate them both as hard. It's not that difficult. Ethiopia has a pretty great starting position. And even though you still have to fight a little bit with tech costs, it's much easier than it was in the olden days. So that makes it easier to keep up. And you actually, as Ethiopia, you have troops that are superior to Ottoman troops in the time period where you're most likely to actually have to fight them. That is after Tech 15. So that also makes it pretty easy. Oh, Saxon just became the emperor. So yeah, I wouldn't rate them as very hard. I would rate them as hard. Not that it's easy or anything, but let's just build a trade depot at the Cape. So yeah, let's just wait for this core to finish. I'm just gonna go to speed 5, and then we're gonna do a quick check timeline. Ooh. Do I want... I would probably want the army tradition. Yeah, that's definitely the best. Spend some of those points. Oh, not in bean. You wanna make yeah, development. Anyway, I was stupid. And Prestor John. So, this is the achievement I was going for, a blessed nation and Prestor John. So we are now the blessed nation of Ethiopia, and we own Alexandria, Antioch, and Constantinople as Coptic Ethiopia, which is pretty important here. So let's look at the timeline. What did we actually do in this game? So yeah, Ethiopia starts here, and some might say that they have been nerfed a little bit in 1.19. They used to own some of this territory as well. But I would actually say that their starting position has been buffed, because while Ethiopia has been fractured, so have Alodia and Makuria, which used to own these two countries, making it much easier to get up to Kwasa Ibrim, which is one of the first holy sites that you can spread to. And furthermore, it starts out as a Coptic nation up here, so that makes it a lot easier. So let's just start spreading here. So obviously what you want to do is you want to take over some of the land around here and probably get up here to defend this from Mamluks. But as I was talking about when we played this, because you want to buy the Renaissance, you shouldn't get too much development before that happens. I think at this point we have already done it. What I did was I got this gold mile down here, and then I developed that enough to buy the Renaissance. That is an expensive solution because it's in the mountains, but everywhere around here is sucky land to develop. I'm actually not sure about this island. We might check that out later, but it might make sense to see if you can expand to some kind of island or some place that don't have any negative modifiers that could save you some points. But yeah, then it's basically try to get at Mamluks as fast as possible. We had some annoying alliances with Mamluks where they basically allied everything around them, and that made it hard to attack them for a good while. So what I basically just did, as I talked about before, well, if you can't attack the way you want, just expand and get power, and you can like overpower them later on, because the AI is never going to be spreading as fast as you do. As you can see here, we are taking over the whole coast here. And yeah, we had a lot of gold mines here in Mutapa that we could just break into as anytime it served our purpose. What you want to look out for as gold with Ethiopia is that gold gives you a lot of inflation, especially when you have as much as Ethiopia does. So make sure not to expand too aggressively into gold areas, because you can get pretty nasty disasters if your inflation spirals out of control, and you don't want to be using too much. Like I think we ended up using maybe 500-600 admin points just on inflation reduction in this game, and that's even with having inflation reduction advisors for most of the game. But yeah, the general idea for this this campaign is just expand until you can go towards your goals. So expand, attack Mamluks, get Alexandria, expand, get Antioch, expand, get Yerevan, expand, get Constantinople. And honestly, at the point where we had this eastern coast of Africa we are powerful enough to deal with everything in my particular playthrough. So if Ottomans had been expanding more aggressively like they usually do, maybe you would have needed to take more. And going into India would be a good idea, because India has a lot of development, so yeah. So here we are at the end of the campaign. Let's look at the ideas I took. That might be interesting to look at. We didn't get too many. So basically, exploration ideas I went with first, so we could expand and get extra provinces, since we were in Africa anyway. I had actually thought that we could also take advantage of trading companies, but for some reason, I think it's because we have our capital in Africa, we can't make trading companies. I still can't find anything on the wiki about it, so I don't know. I expect it to be because we have our capital here, because I think it was in 118 they changed it so that everyone could have trading companies, and indeed we could make trading companies at St. Helen, and we could make trading companies over here. So it's definitely not that we can't make them, but we couldn't make them in Africa for some reason. But exploration was mainly just to spread, and I also hoped I would be able to get colonization spawning in our land, but unfortunately it spawned in Portugal. And it is down to random chance. In our case, it was a 33% chance of it spawning at us, and we were just unlucky. Like we were in with a lot of things in this campaign, by the way. Then I went for religious, and that was because we're gonna have, as Ethiopia, all the land you take, you have to convert, because Coptic is such a small religion at the start of the game, and we had to especially go up against a lot of Sunni lands. So you can probably get around this. No, actually not. I was thinking that we had some kind of religious point, but we don't. So you get an extra missionary for being Ethiopia, but you don't have the proper missionary strength. So getting religious ideas is probably... I would say that you probably can't play this campaign without getting it. You will certainly get lots of problems from religious unity if you don't have it. And furthermore, the Deuce Vault, which is the first thing you get, is just a permanent casus belli on anyone who's not Coptic, which is everyone in the whole world. The only limit to it is that you have to border them, so you have to still make claims on people who are on the other side of the sea, but anyone you border you can just attack. That's brilliant. Then I went with quantity because we had some problems against the Mamluks. We didn't have enough manpower, and that certainly helped us. If you could somehow get enough manpower before you had to fight the Mamluks, or if you could get allies so you don't have to fight yourself, that might not be necessary. Because I would definitely, every time I take military ideas, I will always value quality or offensive highest. But you have to take what you need, and in our case we needed quantity, so we took that first, just for the manpower basically. Yeah. Otherwise, quality I would probably have taken first, and then offensive after, and that was just to get an edge on Ottoman, because we were going to be fighting an uphill battle against Ottoman until we expanded enough. Other things you could take, well, if you have problems with income or with inflation, you could go for either economic to get a permanent inflation reduction, or you could go for trade ideas and try to expand over here, dominate the trade in this area, and by doing that you can bring your gold income down to a minimum as a percentage of your total income, that is, and that way you can have less inflation. So that's two ideas that would be nice to grab. Of course, if you're going for more expansion, if you just want to see how big you can get after doing these, administrative and influence are must if you're trying for mass expansion. As I said, with military ideas, offensive is really good for the leader pips and for the siege ability, probably the best part of offensive, and the discipline isn't bad either. And then defensive, if you're having problems with staying power. Like if you have not enough morale, then defensive are good to go for. But in general, I would say defensive is one of those luxury items. It's one of those when you have everything else, you go defensive. Because, as I've said many times, why would you ever plan to go defensive against the AI, right? Like, that might make sense when you are a new player and you're not that good at the game yet, but when you get to the point where you are playing this game for achievements and trying to get the hard achievements, you're probably at a point where you don't need defensive ideas. So, the defensive ideas are already really nice when you're learning the game, because it allows you to make more mistakes. But once you've got a handle on how the game works, it's not really that great of an idea set. Yes, I think that's gonna be it for this campaign. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button and subscribing. Hope to see you in my next campaign, if I can get it to work, which will, as you probably know, be Byzantium. So I'm gonna go and crack my head against the wall again with that, and hope to see you there.